What's up guys? So I want to code up a video showing you how to use Redux Observable, and I'm just setting up that video right now, a little project I'm going to use to demo it with redux-form, and I thought why not, I'll show you guys how I go about making this video. So if you're not interested, this is not going to really be a tutorial but more of how do I create tutorials. So if you're interested in that, so right now I just have my terminal up. The first thing I like to do is just launch Tmux. It's what I use to create multiple terminal windows. So you see I'm over here and now I have a new one open. I can hop back to this or I can move back here. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the folder where I was going to make the project. And I think it was Redux form setup, I'm guessing. And right now the project, so I have React template and a server. So I'm just gonna open another tab. I'm gonna go ahead and start up the server. And if I remember correctly, we can just look at this real quick. I think the server is just a blank server with one route. Yep, we have validation, and the only validation we're doing is making sure the first name and the last name are different. And this was just to show an example of how it worked with Redux form. Okay, so that's good. So do npm start and let that run in the background. Now I'm going to go into my React template. I'm going to open that in a new tab, and I'm just going to start it, and I'm going to hop back to my original tab. And I'm just going to come back here to Chrome and see what it's looking like. And I believe it works using Redux Saga right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip out Redux Saga and replace it with Redux Observable stuff. So first name, and cool, it looks like it's submitted. And if we come here to the console, submit function done. Awesome. So that works. So now we want to do the same thing, but with, what's it called? We'll keep these with epics. I think I'm going to keep this code in here because I can pretty much copy and paste this for the epics because they're very similar. I'm going to make a separate video about this, but I was trying to get async functions to work with Redux Saga, and excuse me, to work with Redux Saga, and I couldn't get to work. You have to either put this, like if this was an async function, you have to put it below. Like I need to make one down here, or I can import them, and then it'll actually get it to work. So like if I have an async function, and it does whatever, and then I can call Bob here. That works. But if I move Bob up here and try calling it, it doesn't. So for whatever reason, I was having trouble with that. That's what was wrong with it. So I'm going to go to the store, and now we can strip out Redux Saga. Get rid of all the middleware stuff. And we can keep this for now because we're going to do all that jazz with Redux Observable. So I'm just going to open this in a new tab again so we can install Redux Observable. So I'm just going to yarn to add this to the project. If you're not aware how yarn works, it's like npm, but it feels a heck of a lot faster. Facebook created. I recommend using it if you haven't tried it. Okay, so we just want to set this up. middleware. And then we need to create this root epic. /epics. So we can create a new folder in source called epics. And then we can pass this epic middleware in instead of the Saga middleware. Cool. And I think that's it for epics. I don't think we need anything else. Now we just need to actually write these epics. Copy and paste that. Actually, no, we're not going to copy and paste that. We're going to use what I've used before. So I used Redux Observable for this to-do list I made using React Native. So if I go into the source, epics index, you can copy this. You can use that. Index.js. Paste that all in there. We'll come back and fix that stuff later. For now, I just want to look at the sagas. So request submit is what we are looking for. What we're handling. So I can come back, to my epic. Can get rid of that. We don't need this stuff. We're going to use the Redux form. We're going to use Redux Observable. I think this logout epic is kind of how we want to do it. So I'm going to call this register epic. And then basically we're going to put in the same code that we're using for our reducer. So sagas. So request submit. We're going to take that and we're going to basically submit it to the server. So we can copy this stuff. And make it async. So we can say await. And actually, if I come back over to my components, my form, did I keep it? No, I didn't. That's fine. I thought I kept my submit to server that I was using. That one was async, so that's fine. So we're going to await fetch. You can put try catch error. So we're going to try to just fetch here. But if we get an error, then we can return error. Oh wait, we don't want to await this. This is going to be const response. And we're going to return response.json and await. I believe. Let's space that out. Alright, you can remove this now, and that looks okay. So our register epic, the first thing you want to do is we're going to do .do, and we're going to start submit on our contact form. Then we're going to go to our merge map. That sounds good. And then from promise, we're just going to call submit to server, passing in our action.data. And then the return value is .map. That's going to be our response. So as a function, we can say if x.errors, else do something else. So if there is errors, copy this. We want to return so after we make this call to submit server, we want to then get the return value from it, and if there's any errors from submitting, we're going to dispatch this action. And then if there's not, we just want to return request successful. Okay. Type request successful. Alternatively, we could also pass in the response and show that it worked. Here we can console.log the X so we can see it working. And then we also want to say stop submit. Oh, you know what? I need to dispatch this as an action. So I need to do .do stop submit contact. And then we need to pass in the errors. So if there's errors, we pass those in. And then this is saying or if there's no errors, we just pass an empty object. Okay, that looks pretty good actually. Let's give that a run. Module not found. So this is sometimes happens. This is when you add new files and you just need to restart the server. Oops, not that server, the client. Or it could mean that we just imported it incorrectly, one of the two. But it looks like it's going to be loading. Oh, cannot find module. So when using RxJS, you have to go into your project and actually just import it here. And that means we have to do yarn add RxJS. So we need to install that package. So because Redux Observable uses RxJS under the hood, so we need to install that as well and import that in. And let's see, when that's done, we can refresh. Cool. And I can come back here. You go to my epic. We don't need to do, we might need observable. Observable I use like if we get an error by returning this type, I'm pretty sure we can just return an action, but we might need to return an observable. Actually, we'll find out. Result, what is result? Oh, it's going to be X. There we go. Okay, looks like it's rendering okay. So Bob, Bob, Bob. Should throw an error. Bad request to 400, good. Spits out this object. But for whatever reason, it did not stop the submit. So what I'm curious about is if we come here, we can console.log x. Oh, you know what? I know what it is. Oh yeah, we should be passing the errors in right here. Console.log x. Okay, let's see what that's outputting. Bob at Bob. Okay. Errors. Oh, that's actually working. Stop submit. So do we want to, are we wanting to do two? I did this before. I can't remember if I just like put it up here. Because basically we want to return two actions. Bob at okay, that didn't work either. Alright, so I got this working with React Native app before. Not this one, a different one actually. Come over here. It's called login. Epics. You can see how I did it. Okay, I dispatched it. Okay, I remember that. So I need to do it like that. So notice how, got it, get state dispatch. So we need to grab two functions here. Get state and dispatch. Instead of doing this do thing, we're going to dispatch this action. I'm just making sure my stuff is matching up. What doesn't it like? Unexpected token. Just need to add a parenthesis there. Bob. Okay, so that seemed to have worked nicely. Now what happens if I would do it correctly? And I still want a console log so we can see what the response from the server is. Let it refresh. And looky there, it created our user. So that's how you get to work with epics. So now that I have this working example, I can tear out the stuff over there. We don't need sagas. Delete, thank you. Okay, so now that I have this working epic, I kind of know how to code it up. So what I'm going to do is, I think for the tutorial I'll do like a side by side going through and setting up RxJS and Redux Observable with this. And then when doing this part, how do I want to show them? I want to walk through and explain this, because am I going to try to memorize this? I kind of know how it works because I'm just doing register epic, and then you're doing action. It's maybe a lot to remember. This is from the last video that I did. This is just a generic function, async function, that makes a call to an API that's simple. And then I can start back over here. That's kind of funny how it goes from let's get rid of that, because I was noticing this should be happening async when we call the server, but then that console log was happening afterwards, which is kind of interesting. Okay, so we got submit action here. That looks good. And that's pretty much it. So now I'm just going to decide how I want to go about memorizing this / presenting it. Now that I got this working, I'm going to just basically go through and explain how this all worked, and a walkthrough of if you have a Redux form, how you can set this up for Redux Epic, or with Redux Observable using epics and RxJS. So I guess that's it for this video. If you liked this behind the scenes, let me know. I might do more of them, where I'm just kind of basically relaxed coding. I don't explain it as much, but you just see me how I do the setup of everything, and I set up my environment and that sort of thing. I might continue doing these. Yeah. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.